What do you think about the certainty that people in the Bitcoin maximalist community have about this particular piece of technology, Bitcoin? Is there something interesting that you think that you might want to say about this community, or is it just is what it is?
I think at the end of the day, results speak for themselves, and Bitcoin has had an amazing impact on our industry and has had an amazing impact on the world. And I think the result is still that Bitcoin is very widely adopted and driving the adoption of our industry in many ways. So I think it's very difficult for people to say that Bitcoin maximalists don't have something that they can latch onto and say, hey, there's something very real here. I think there's been decisions made by the Bitcoin community and the people who made the Bitcoin protocol to focus it on Bitcoin and to focus it on the kind of storing of the ledger of Bitcoin and the information about Bitcoin and the transaction of Bitcoin, and to focus on securing that. And I understand why that decision was made to a certain degree, right? It was about focus. It was about getting something worthwhile right without adding additional features and additional risk. And that decision is a decision that was made and has kind of the benefits of focus and the benefits of a certain amount of security and a certain amount of guarantees around Bitcoin and what that is and the value of that. And then it has certain limitations, as a consequence of doing less or having the system hold data that isn't related to Bitcoin, or not having the system hold contractual outcomes or smart contract code. So I think it's just kind of a decision, right? And I understand why they're excited, and I'm very excited. I started in this industry going to Bitcoin meetups, and I met a lot of fantastic people, libertarian people that wanted to see the world work differently and shared a lot of my beliefs and a lot of my points of view. And so, anyone who's been in the industry as long as I have has had to come from the Bitcoin ecosystem by virtue of kind of starting out that early. So I have an unbelievable amount of respect and admiration and gratitude for Bitcoin, and that it exists and everything that it's done and that it birthed this industry. There's absolutely no doubt about that. At the same time, whatever design decisions people make are the design decisions they make, right? And so if you've made a design decision that this ledger and this thing will be about Bitcoin, it won't be about colored coins. It won't be about op return at 80 bytes. It won't be about these other kind of nuances that you don't want this to be about. Then that's fine. That's fine, and that's a logical decision. That's called focus, and focus has a lot of value, and a lot of great technology products have focused on something and done that. And then there's a lot of smart people around Bitcoin building kind of additional systems that anchor their security within Bitcoin. And I think that's an interesting approach that could bear fruit. I think it'll eventually require an interaction with the Bitcoin protocol in more advanced ways. And then there will be another question of, what is the design decision for Bitcoin? Is it that Bitcoin will be just about the Bitcoin ledger? Or does Bitcoin want to evolve into an anchor for all these other systems and maybe create additional data store, kind of more data on chain, on the Bitcoin blockchain related to that. So I'm excited to see how that evolves, but until then, kind of results speak for themselves, and the results that Bitcoin has achieved for our industry and for itself as kind of the dominant cryptocurrency and the conception of our industry that people interact with first is obviously very important and something that I think really everybody in our industry is grateful for, right? Because without Bitcoin, where would our industry be? And that's obviously something that we can't forget.